Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's Lunch and Learn. I'm Lauren Anderson with the International Franchise Association, and we have a great 30 minutes lined up for you. Before we begin, I would like to remind everyone that we are recording today's webinar and will make it available later this evening on franchise.org. If you have any questions for today's speaker, please add them to the Q&A box and they will be addressed toward the end. Today's topic is Scale Smarter, Augmenting Your Franchise with Technology That Unifies, and it is brought to us by Zoho. Here to provide today's discussion is Ali Shabdar, Director of Strategic Growth at Zoho. Thank you all for joining us today, and thank you to Zoho for sponsoring today's Lunch and Learn. I'll go ahead and turn things over to you.
Thank you, Lauren. Appreciate that. It's my pleasure to be here today, and I'm glad to discuss one topic that is becoming very, very important to us in business, and that's about scaling smarter. Now, let me start with telling you why I chose this photo for the cover slide. And that is a photo of AI generated, a bud that is very resilient to cold and also very welcoming to the spring. In the spring, the buds open for photosynthesis, and in winter they actually close to protect the stem and also preserve them for the next season. And I think scaling up and down, to me, this is a good resemblance for that guarantees and ensures the sustenance and growth of a company. So the next 20 or so minutes, I would like us to go through the challenges and principles and solutions of scaling your franchise business. Why growth is alluring, and what challenges come with growth, and how do we make sure that we guarantee a longevity of our business in the ups and downs of the market. I'll share some examples as well that what can be done, some of them using our own technology. Great. Now, on the allure of growth. Well, I think when it comes to growth, when we hear the word growth, in the context of business, it's all about more and bigger, more branches, a larger team, higher ROI, and just more returns year after year after year, which is absolutely okay. We're in business to generate value, to generate profit, and to give back to our community, and growth is a part of it. However, it gets a bit tempting when it comes to just focusing on that growth. It's a bit tempting to lose our focus. So oftentimes we see that more, bigger, or higher is mistaken for scaling and scaling up. That's what we see. People are getting replaced. When we get excited, we want growth, we want new technology, we need new skills, rather than being empowered and upskilled. And when things get chaotic and more complex, we end up throwing more fancy technology. The latest thing, especially AI these days, is adding more to confusion than to actually, delivering value. So we add more technology to solve the matter. And this is also a common trend, not just in franchise business, but across the board, that short-term wins take over the entire conversation. We are so focused on quarterly growth and revenue that sometimes we overlook, not forget, but we overlook to focus on longevity and sustenance of business in the long run. We're not here for 1 or 2 quarters. We are here to create values for generations. And in the process of all this, it's easy to forget about the human essence and talk about technology, because technology does things faster and more efficient, at least on paper. So I like what Einstein said, that the human spirit must prevail over technology. And I think this quote is more relevant in this day and age, in today's business climate. Let's continue with one question. We're going to start with our first question today. There's a poll, and Lauren will be so kind to launch it for us. And sounds obvious, but what are the biggest barriers of scaling for your business today? Can you pick from one of the four, whichever is more resonating with you? Are these inconsistent operations that doesn't allow you to grow or scale? Is it lack of data visibility? The more we grow, the more complex everything becomes, and we lose the sight of some of the corners of our business. Are we adding to the disconnected tool sets that we are using to go forward? And are these mostly about the people and the tools that are not ready to take us to the next level? So I hope everybody is casting their vote. I think we'll give it another few seconds. Interesting. Now, the polls are in. Almost 30% of people agree that it's inconsistent operations. 47 believe that it's too many disconnected tools. That is a problem that is is very evident everywhere in most businesses that we work with. And less than 30% believe it's a people or resource challenge. So it is good to see that majority of us believe that it's the disconnected tools, operations and processes, of course, and also sometimes people and resources are not ready. Now, we're going to see some of the ways in which we can address these barriers and challenges. Now, in terms of challenges, and I'm going to state some obvious terms here, um, we often, again, focusing on growth, which by virtue of growth, complexity will show itself, especially if you're not ready for the speed of growth, for the scale of growth that is happening. It's great news, but sometimes we're not ready for it, and we might actually get crushed under such growth or miss opportunities. And complexity often leads to chaos. And when we have this growing complexity with tools, with people, with processes, with everything, in all fronts, our visibility over our business, our data will be poorer and poorer. That's natural. So we will see let's say, shorter distance. It's like a thickening fog in front of us. And because of that, because there's less visibility, customer experience will be impacted. We won't be able to take actions as quickly as possible that we need, or add value, or delight them the way they deserve to be delighted. And often when customer experience and visibility are impacted, employee experience is also impacted. Um, um, more time is wasted because we tend to do either more manual work, or some processes were not designed for this level of complexity. They were designed 5 years ago, 10 years ago. They came from our previous owner or a previous generation, where the fanciest thing we might have used was an Excel file. Today, with all the tools and technologies and channels of marketing and supporting people, the things have become exponentially complex. So a lot of wastage and inefficiencies happen within that process. And as I said, as a result, the team will be unhappy. They will be overwhelmed because they have to compensate for all the inefficiencies that such complexity and chaos brings about with itself. Second question, and I promise this is the last one. So to see how many disconnected, hopefully connected, but often disconnected tools and technologies that we use on daily basis in our businesses. Let's do this poll. Let's have a look at, are we using 1 to 2 tools and technologies, 3 to 5, or 10 and more than 10? And please consider your messaging app, your Slack, the smallest technology that you think you use in your business on daily basis is one of those tool sets. We'll give it another minute for this poll be up and see in our audience today, on average, how many tools are you guys using? Is it just one or two? You're one of the very few lucky ones. Is it more than 10? I think that's the majority of people. And while we're waiting for the results to come in, I would argue that most of the technology and tools that we use, they are not tightly connected or integrated with each other. Most of the times, we see that a lot of time and resources are wasted in connecting those tools, having them talk to each other, and create the value that they all collectively promised to deliver. That's unfortunately not the case oftentimes. Interesting. I see some sort of a bell curve. Um, Between 33 to 39% of the audience are using between 3 to 10 tools. This is very common. I think we represent the wider audience, 100%. So let's say around 35% of us are using an average of 5 or more tools and technologies. This is still good news. I've seen scenarios where people use more than 10 or 15 technologies. And guess what? There are a lot of inefficiencies and leakage of data and process and energy there. Yeah, how do we solve these? I mean, we ask these questions, we see the trend, and how do we make sure that before even we hit the tool and technology, we have an answer to solve these problems? I would call it smart scaling. I'm not sure if I coined it or not. I don't think so, but that's how it is. And it's a strategic and perpetual endeavor. And it's not about just scaling up, it's about scaling down as well. And what do I mean by that? Now, I believe scaling often fails because of the foundations that are not supportive. The foundations of what we have in our business cannot support it, not the vision, and often not even the strategy. We have great ideas. We want to create a lot of values. We want to expand to new frontiers. But the foundation that we have is not designed or is not ready to take us there. Now, in terms of dividing smart scaling and kind of best practices, let's look at 4 principles. And we can delve deeper or add to it, but I see these 4 elements, these 4 pillars, as some of the key ones. First and foremost, the obvious case, creating a single source of truth. What do I mean by that? We have data. Data is gold, and we are churning so much data on a daily basis. If you go back to your business, franchisee or franchisors, multi-branch, doesn't matter. You will be surprised to see that you are churning probably gigabytes, no, terabytes of information on a regular basis. And what happens to this data? Often not utilized. So first of all, we have to make sure everything is in one place, centralized, there are no duplicates, and etc., etc. It's clean. It's not garbage in, garbage out. It's high quality, reliable, actionable information of our business, centralized in one place. The result of that is that we can generate high quality analytics, business intelligence, make me able to make decisions that are strategic, that are long term, not being reactive, being proactive. Second pillar, second principle will be to ensure that our processes, workflows are consistent across our teams, our branches, our franchisees, and all the operations that we have. These could be as simple as a checklist. Every morning, there are checklists that have to be reviewed and checked. These have to be consistent across all the branches, or standard operating procedures, or complex processes, approval procedures, and all of that. It's worth reviewing them regularly, making them more efficient before even entering the technology part of it. You could do it with pen and paper. On paper, you'll see how the process works and if it is the best process that serves you today and tomorrow or not. Third, it's about people. And again, we are very excited. These days, the business community is excited to jump on the AI bandwagon, increase efficiencies. A lot of promises are made by technology companies. Most of them today are hype. Most of them, not all of it. There are a lot of practical applications and they're growing. But are we ready for that? Or are we just intoxicated by this allure of AI? And what we end up doing, a lot of businesses, they try to downsize and adopt technology. That is not the best way. Probably it's one of the worst ways actually to tackle some of the challenges. It's better to go back to our teams, see how we can upskill and empower them. People are afraid of the speed at which the technology is growing. Let us reassure to them that the technology is not there out there to take them to get them. It's actually there to help them. So a person can be augmented, can be empowered with AI and other technologies to be able to do what they are doing in the best way possible. With some training, the right tools, right mindset, and the right culture, which is the next pillar. The culture of a company is the soul of the company. So internally, you have to make sure that it's preserved, especially in this day and age. Everything is becoming technological. The human element is slowly not leaving, but dwindling. So we have to double down on preserving and upholding the culture. And that transmits and actually shows itself through our messaging and branding. So those also need to be very consistent across our entire brand to have one unified message that translates into the previous pillars of people, process, and data. On scaling down, my favorite part. Um, it's not, as I said, all about going up and scaling up. It's a lot of times about making sure that we are taking a step back, we're pausing, we're contracting our business, we're consolidating our efforts, we're regrouping because the market is bad, or the competition is fierce, or something bad happened at the global scale. The goal is to sustain our business. The goal is longevity. So it's okay to scale down, protect ourselves, regroup, pivot, and then make sure that when the market is getting better, we are there actually to grow. We have not disappeared. So some questions we ask ourselves, and these are the common questions, by the way. Should we close down some of the branches if we're not doing well? Should we pause on some efforts? Should we remove some of the products from the line that are not performing as well? Not spreading ourselves too thin. How automation can help us to actually empower our staff and all of that. So again, with the right data, automation, and visibility, we can downscale with precision, and we can scale up and down with intention, both in the short and the long run. Some quick examples of that I've taken from some of the work we've done. These are not actual companies. These are based on some of actual work that we have done. I did not have the liberty of using their names, so I'm giving you 90% real scenarios without the name of the company. And well, disclaimer, this section might contain some of our product names. Again, as I said, you can replace them with the product you like. It doesn't have to be a Zoho product, but a unified platform allows us to address many of those inefficiencies and disjoint technological implementation that is causing more problem than solving problems. Now, scenario number one, very familiar, fast-growing franchise. It's a mid-size food franchise. They're just growing, and which means more branches, more franchisees. But the visibility is lowering. People started improvising. Centralized onboarding is lacking, is lagging behind actually, and customer experience gets impacted. In terms of onboarding and the connection between the franchise or franchisee, we are also aware that law today is not on our side, and our the advocacy summit a few days ago, its main goal was to address this very problem, to make sure that at least from a legal perspective, the industry is supported. But here, my example is particularly technological and process focused. The solution was to use Zoho People, an HR management system, to automate training and onboarding. You can scale it. You can scale it up massively and quickly. Zoho Creator to build business process solutions and apps was deployed to automate some of the smallest and quickest wins, like standard operating procedures. Not only was it automated, but the data was also centralized, much easier to do analytics. Zoho Analytics was implemented to give a singular dashboard pulling data from everywhere and increase that visibility. The result was obvious. New locations ramp up was much faster, onboarding was better, consistency scores improved, customers were happier because everybody else was happier. And qualitatively, there was less stress and more structure and less churn across the team. A second scenario, similar, but now this is a downturn. This is a slump. It's a retail business. It's not a franchise, this one. And the footfall was almost cut in half. So what they saw was that the costs are going up because the revenue is down and team morale is low. People are bored. People are scared that they're going to get fired. And inventory was scattered all over the places in branches that were not, efficiently selling those products. So the solution was to use an inventory application, Zoho Inventory, along with a CRM that consolidates the SKUs and sync retail with e-commerce. So opening a new door and a new platform for e-commerce. And underperforming outlets were closed. This is a very common scenario, happens all the time, temporary or permanently. And the resources, the people, instead of getting fired, people were reallocated to the e-commerce front. So not only they were upskilled and they had the confidence to do something new, but also they were not fired. They were actually, probably some of them even got some promotions. And the result was increase in online conversion, a completely new door opened by being strategic, scaling down in the physical stores and scaling up in the digital stores. Customer satisfaction was higher, naturally, because the customer behavior is also going towards more towards digital rather than retail. And internal engagement was improved too. People felt empowered. People felt that they have new skills, that they matter, and they can do more for the business. Third and last one is an agency, a services agency, creative agency, very similar to one of the projects that I was directly involved in around 10 years ago, where creative agencies have ups and downs in terms of workload, which means they need to hire a lot of people, expand quickly in operations and team size and logistics. And then there are seasons that there is a slump and they have to scale back down. So this flexibility is essential, is crucial for them to be able to stay in business. So challenge that they faced was it was hard to onboard people and justify a new allocation of resources because sometimes you hire a lot more than the management agrees to. And because of the previous team that was a smaller and the processes that were more simpler, manual processes were still there, some even paper-based, and that was not making the company ready to grow for the a digital scalability of things. On-premise tech also, the tech that had to be installed, expensive tech, expensive to maintain, was not helpful. The solution was to go to software as a service, to the cloud, to make sure the elasticity of software helps you with the elasticity growing up and down of the business. Zoho Project became the core to help all the projects be managed, all the documentation be managed through Zoho WorkDrive. Templates, again, single source of truth was established. Benchmarking and analytics was done by Zoho Analytics. And these are all connected. These are all integrated, technologies. And some of the roles that were permanent turn into flexible roles, more on the contract using Zoho Workerly, which helps you manage your contract workers. Results were better utilization of resources and staff. Some had to be let go, but most of them were kept, and efficiencies throughout the process of pitching, quoting, and project management would directly impacted the bottom line of the customer and the company. Awesome. Now, what is the way forward? And I think scaling smarter is something that you can do today. And you saw some of the wins were super quick. An SOP, digitalization of an SOP, or adopting a project management tool is something that can be done in a matter of days or weeks. I think on the way forward, we have to make sure that we're building for the long run. We don't need massive budgets. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. Nothing, no magical potion is needed. We can start small with an SOP, with a checklist, and start today. Even start thinking about it. Revisiting our processes could start from today. Could be a fun afternoon project. Who knows? Let's not jump into replacing people, but rather to empower them and enable them, upskill them. I call them augment them. It's the next level of humanity to be augmented by AI. It's like an exoskeleton that makes us way more powerful than we are. Why not giving that to our people? And let's not be bogged down by the allure of perpetual growth. It's not real. It's a myth. Let's strategize and build toward the readiness and elasticity of scaling up and down when the market needs, and focus on longevity and creating long-term value. We can help as a proud member of the IFA, as one of the major technology companies in the world. Our main focus is on cloud. In the past quarter century, we are humbled and proud to be serving almost 1 million customers, 130 million users, and as a testament to show that we're doing something right, to bring a unified platform to most of the businesses to be able to create the value they must. And we're also with them for the long run. Now, that's it from my side. Now it is your turn with the questions today, with going back to your team later today or tomorrow, and seeing if any of what was mentioned today resonates with you, if you see them as challenges, if you identify a problem, and what was shared today could help you in any shape or form to improve your processes, empower your people, and adopt and implement better technology that does what you exactly need, not more, not less. That's it from my side. And I think we can move on to questions. If you guys like, happy to answer questions now or later. Thank you so much for your time. I believe we have around 5 minutes, Lauren, if I'm not mistaken, for Q&A.
Yeah, a couple more minutes.
Awesome. Ryan Harris is asking how many businesses use Zoho? 900,000 businesses or customers. More than that, actually, but we stick to the number 900,000. And combined, I think across the world, we have 130 million users. By the way, I think 33% of our customers, if not more, are only in the United States. US is our largest market by far, has always been. Most welcome. You can definitely find me on social media, on LinkedIn, on X, under my name. You have my email address. I'm accessible through the IFA friends as well. Happy to take any specific questions that you have and delve deeper into the answer. Also, will be attending the Emerging Franchise show in Nashville in the month of November. So I hope to see some of you there. Thank you, Matthew.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. This was excellent content and excellent feedback from all of you. We really do appreciate it. Again, this webinar was recorded and along with the presentation deck will appear on our website early this evening. You'll be able to find that at franchise.org. Thank you very much again to Ollie and the Zoho team for sponsoring today's webinar. And again, thank you to everyone for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day and stay safe and healthy. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.